Greetings, fairest one. Welcome to the program where we talk about things. I can't not laugh when Jay laughs. It makes me laugh.
Did you say greetings, fairest one?
Yes. That's going to be my shtick from now on, to come up with the more off the wall and the more creepier, the better. That's what I'm going for.
Well, you know, it's a lot cleaner than, hey, fuckers.
Yeah, but that's funnier. That's funnier.
I don't know. Fairest one is kind of, it is creepy, but it's also funny.
Well, when Jay and I fired up the Zoom line today, Jay started telling me about a concert that he went to last night. And at first, I was rapt and couldn't tear myself away from what he was saying. And then I went, wait, Jay, wait. Save this for our friends right here on Beer Thursday.
Well, I'm glad you asked, Shayne.
Are you glad I wheezed?
Yes, I'm glad you wheezed. Yeah, so
it's awesome. I used to not be able to do that.
Sorry. Yeah, we went to a concert last night at the Globe Life Field, where the 2023 World Champion Texas Rangers play.
Now, this is where they play now, not across the street, the beautiful park where they played.
Yeah, not the real ballpark, the warehouse across the street from it. And so I found out that Green Day was coming. And Robin and I had never seen Green Day, and it's one of those, you know, I would like to see them. I mean, I wasn't like a huge fan, but I did like them. And I like Billy Joe Armstrong. So we got tickets, and we had some friends that they got tickets too. And they actually, it's kind of cool. We got tickets separately, but their tickets ended up being right behind ours.
Wow.
That was kind of cool. But anyway, so it started at 5:30, which was, I'm like why would you start a concert on a Wednesday night at 5:30? But it was opening band. So the first opening band was called the Linda Lindas or something like that. And it's a female rock band, and apparently they're really good. Unfortunately, we missed them. And then there's a band called Rancid, which I'd heard of.
Yeah, I've heard of Rancid.
And as they performed, I'd kind of wished I hadn't. And then there's Smashing Pumpkins, which I was surprised were there. And talking about personality or lack thereof. And then
wait, is that a shot at Billy Corgan?
It's not, it's a shot across the bow, but it's not a direct shot. It's just a warning.
It's not all that inaccurate either.
Well, I will say this though, there's one of the guys in the band, I don't know what his name is, but one of the guitarists, and he has a very deadpan delivery. And he said, "Is everybody having a fairly reasonable time tonight?"
That's funny.
That was funny. But then Billy Corgan was dressed up like, he looked like Uncle Fester from the Addams Family.
Yeah, he's had that look for quite a while now.
Yeah, and I mean, sure, it was a lovely dress, but it was just, you know, it was just kind of a interesting look. But I recognized several of the songs. I've never been a big Smashing Pumpkins fan, but before I'll package that, or maybe I won't, but before I get to it, I noticed immediately when we got in there that it was too fucking loud.
Have you been to a concert there before?
Yeah, I saw Elton John there, and it was not that loud, not as loud, and I'm like, it was so loud, and then it was causing this echo and the ballpark, because you're, you know, and so it just had honestly, it's even with Smashing Pumpkins, where you knew some of the songs, weren't quite sure what they were playing, because it was just
too boomy, too echoey.
Yeah. And it was the same day with Green Day. They did, the sound got a little bit better, or I just got a little bit more deaf as the concert progressed. But I was like, you heard this thing, you know, on, I think it was 97.1, they used to say, if it's too loud, you're too old, or was that Q102 or something like that?
Yeah, I don't remember where, but yeah.
And I guess I'm too old, because I was like, you know what's more my style? Tom Jones. That's more my style. But on a side note, there is a Instagram, TikTok. I think she's TikTok. It's social media lady, and she is a guitar player. And I guess they auditioned guitar players for Smashing Pumpkins, and she she is that guitar player. And I'd seen her on TikTok, and
Oh,
she's really good. She's really talented. And she had more energy than the entire other members of the band put together. And her name
I
is,
I know, I was looking for her name, but
I
because
think it was, last name was, might have been Wong. I'll let you look that up while I sit here and continue to talk.
oh, you know what? I
Uh,
think we should tell our friend here the name of the Smashing guitarist's
yeah,
name, Smashing Pumpkins guitar, after this
yeah.
toast.
Oh, I already found her name. Yes, we should. We should tell after this toast. And Shane,
Yes.
I think you should toast for us.
Jay, you
Yeah.
know, my toasts are full of wisdom.
Yes.
Okay, this is some wise words that
I
I
mean,
borrowed from The Godfather, Jay.
oh,
Keep your friends close and your beer closer.
ooh, I like that.
Cheers.
Nice little paraphrase. Cheers.
Mhm.
Or as the doctors like to say, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Now, I looked up the girl's name, the lady's name. She is Instagram famous as well. Her name is Kiki Wong.
Kiki Wong.
And yeah, and if you get a chance, I first saw her on TikTok, and what she does, she'll just sit there and she'll play something on the guitar, and just, she's got like this really just cool presence about her. She's really, really awesome. And
Yeah, was she the only guitarist?
no, I think there was like two other
Okay.
guitar players and a
James
bass.
Iha, right? I think
Yeah.
he's kind of the long time guitarist.
Yeah, and he's the one that had the deadpan talk. I thought that was kind of funny. And then there's a backup singer as well in the band, and I don't know what her name is.
Really? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
That was kind of cheesy,
so
wasn't it?
it was a little. So anyway, there was that. Didn't really love it, but it was, and then I realized I'd seen them before because they were one of the opening bands for the Rolling Stones when they played at Texas Motor Speedway back in the 90s. Or no, it was the late
Oh.
90s, mid to late 90s, early 2000s. Hell, I don't remember.
It's really tough to tell at this point.
Yeah, it's tough to tell at this point. So, Green Day came on, and they opened with their one of their new songs, which actually is a really good song, liked it. And then they did the entire Dookie album, and then they kind of went down the list and played like American Idiot and stuff like that.
Cool.
And then they were gonna do, I wasn't feeling my best last night, so we left before they also did the entire new album later in the show. So we didn't stay for that part, but I heard everything I needed to hear except for one song, and I knew that song was not gonna be played till the end. And I just said, you know what, good riddance. I'm just gonna leave and I can just watch it on YouTube. But
And I guess they saved it for the end.
yeah,
What
which
did
makes sense.
Could you hear or tell what Smashing Pumpkins closed with?
No.
And I'm gonna look up their set.
Yeah,
I don't wanna turn this into Smashing Pumpkins talk, but for their
yeah,
first 2, maybe definitely the first 2 albums, I wore out those cassettes.
really.
I love those first 2 albums. Really liked the next 2.
Yeah,
Then I kinda got away from them. And then I think there was some breakup thing, personnel changes, whatever.
yeah,
But for the last 10 or so years, they've put out quite a bit of work.
yeah.
And their albums have like 20 and 30 songs each on them.
Wow.
And I've never listened to them.
Well, I have to say they do have one song that I really like. I mean, they had several songs that I like, but I'm just not a huge fan. But the one that I enjoyed listening to the most was, despite all my rage, I'm still
Yeah.
just a rat in a cage. I like that one.
That's such a good song.
That's a
Man,
great song.
I'm in this week.
Oh boy. Well, also you might want to
Yeah.
check out some Green Day because they put on one hell of a show. And Billy Joe Armstrong is a a great lead singer, performer, because he when he talks to the audience, he's like, "Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna do Dookie now," or "Ladies and gentlemen." It was all. I just thought that was great. And I'm like, he was so much fun. He had a great sense of humor. Really got the band into it. It was or the audience into it. It was great.
I don't know why I've always wanted to dislike Green Day. I don't know what it is
Yeah,
about them where I just chose to dislike them.
yeah.
But then I hear their songs. There's a lot of their songs that I like. So I think I will check out the new album because
I
Jay recommended it, my
Yeah, and
friend.
I would also recommend. I don't know if you remember our friend Scott used his ringtone used to be whenever his sister called. It
No,
was, "Do you have the time to listen to me whine?"
that's funny.
I always thought that was funny. So every time, as soon as I heard that, I thought of Scott.
Ah, that's a great
But
song.
yeah, great song. And you know what? It was a great show. And I don't need to see him again, but I will say this: 52-year-old Billy Joe Armstrong
Yeah.
looks almost as young as he did back when he started at 22. I mean, he or 20 or however old he was. Great
Would
band.
would you say he's well preserved? Maybe.
Oh yeah, he's definitely well preserved, and
Okay.
he's extremely talented. He did a couple of covers, and he's just yeah, he's a great performer and a great. And on a side note, he did a album several years back that for of an entire Everly Brothers album with
Uh,
he did it with, I want to say, with
Interesting.
Nora Jones,
Oh, wow.
and it was fantastic. It was great. And it was, I mean, it was a very straight up great cover with beautiful harmonies and the whole 9 yards. If you get a chance, look it up, figure it out. But
Work it out for yourself. You're a smart guy. You can do it.
but but you know what I figured out, Shane?
What's that,
I
Jay?
figured I figured out that wait, were you the opening act and I'm the closer or
I
what?
did. Yeah, you're
Okay.
gonna have to shut this thing out.
o- Okay. Well, I think that you all should share your experiences with concerts. And do you feel too old? Do you feel like it's too loud now? I'm sure you don't if you're 20. But what about if you're our age, 22 and more over? And if you enjoy what you're hearing, please continue to listen to us. Please, if you have the time to listen to us wind on,
Raw.
yes, come back every Thursday. We're here we'll be waiting right here next Thursday. So you just come on and join us and anytime you want. Set your clocks. That's with the CLOCK, Shane. And
Thank
we will
you for
you,
correcting
you bet.
me.
You bet. And send us your comments, your dreams, your aspirations, and mostly your money. Thank you for listening, and we will see you next. Sorry. You will hear us next week on another exciting round of Beer Thursday.